So I've mentioned so many times that the Warriors front court is very bad, but specifically, the starting center TJD has been disappointing, and game after game he continues to show exactly why he's not a starting caliber 5-man on a championship team. TJD does about 3 or 4 things on this team. He provides roll gravity, rim protection, transition rim run, and catching lobs. He's by far the most athletic and high motor center on the team that we have. Loon is much more seasoned and experienced, but he doesn't impact the game as an athlete in terms of playing above the rim compared to TJD. However, even though TJD is a lob finisher, he's horrendously bad at catching the ball through traffic. If the pass does not come over the top in the air, and if it's a bounce pass in the pocket or a quick dump off, he has issues catching the ball. There are many possessions where he has a wide open scoring opportunity going to the basket, but because he couldn't catch the ball, it becomes a turnover, and now it's a transition break for the opposing team. Even when he does catch the ball, there are times when he bobbles the ball before fully establishing possession, and that gives the defense enough time to defend and get back into the play. And this hasn't been happening this season. It happened a few times last season as well, where he just straight up couldn't catch the ball, and he was leaving free scoring opportunities on the table. That's when probably my favorite Warriors content creator, Athletic Alchemy, explained that because TJD is usually expecting a lob pass, he's always standing straight up to get off the ground quickly. So because of that, if the pass comes low, then he can't catch it because he's so used to playing above the rim. And I thought that was so interesting, and it just made so much sense. As a big in today's game, it's extremely important to be able to catch the ball and score and make decisions in spots that you should be able to do so. Look at Rudy Gobert, a great defensive player, but he's an eyesore on offense, and a big part of why that is because he can't catch the ball. TJD's got to develop better hands if he wants to remain in this league for a long time. As a big in this Warriors offense, or matter of fact in any offense, screen setting is one of the most important yet underrated skills in basketball. It's the one thing that allows you to create advantages when running offense, but it's also like you're protecting the ball handler like an offensive lineman. TJD, on the other hand, is a very bad screen setter. Because he's a heavy pick and roll threat, he usually slips out of screens too early, rolling to the basket and trying to look for his own instead of the objective, which is to get Steph, Dennis, JK, or whoever the ball handler's defender is, out of the play. This bad habit usually stagnates the offense for the Warriors because they can't create a numbers advantage, and outside of Steph, no one can really do it on their own without a screen. Even when he does try to set a quality screen, he never tries to really put his body on the line to nail the defender out of the way. Like if you watch Loon for an example, and this is why he's so valuable to the Warriors, he will put his body in between the defender and the ball handler and take a head straight into the chest at full speed. He's a great screener. TJD will likely softly touch the defender with his arms and never really make a ton of contact, which brings me to believe that TJD is just not a physical player like Loon. There's a narrative around TJD that like he's a soft player, and if you watch him play, he doesn't have that grittiness to him like Loon does, where he's willing to get his hands dirty and do the little things to help the team succeed. But something that he's just not succeeding in is his scoring inside and outside of the restricted area. TJD is an undersized center who likes to play close to the basket. He's like 6'9". He's tiny compared to 29 other starting centers in the league. Now obviously I don't expect him to be a dynamic scorer as a traditional center. I mean, for crying out loud, he was the 57th overall pick. However, even with how close he likes to play to the basket, his rim finishing has been left to be desired. According to Cleaning the Glass, 72% of TJD's shot attempts come at the rim. That ranks 80th most among all bigs. This is the restricted area, so like shots that include layups and dunks are usually taken in this area. His rim finishing percentage is 68%, which ranks 48th best among all bigs. And a big reason for this is because he can't make his layups. He can finish alley-oops, he can dunk the ball, but when it comes to making layups in traffic, he cannot do it. I've already covered this in the Vucevic video, and I pretty much pointed out that TJD is a horrible layup finisher, and here you can see the numbers, and they are not great whatsoever. But his paint finishing is even worse. 26% of TJD's shot attempts are in the short mid-range area. That ranks 73rd among all bigs. This is the area where players shoot floaters, runners, and hook shots, etc. His percentage is 36%, which ranks 33rd worst among all bigs. This means that if you take away the rim, there's a 36% chance out of 100 that TJD will make a shot in the paint. That's abysmal. And it's weird because we already know that he's not a traditional size center. He's not no 7-footer, yet he has the skill set exactly like a 7-footer. He's 6'9", he should be able to finish at a decent level in the paint, yet he can't. Matter of fact, there are 7-footers that can do that much better than TJD can. And this really hurts his game overall because teams know that he wants to shoot at the rim. So they'll back up and meet him there, and he's forced to take heavily contested shots at the rim, which hurts his rim finishing percentage. It's also one of the reasons why the Warriors are a bad 2-point scoring team, because centers are the ones that should take care of this portion of the scoring, yet TJD is buns at doing this. The last thing I want to touch on is his ability to play against the best centers in the league. I made a video at the start of the season where I explained how TJD cannot play against the best centers in the league and that the 5 spot would be situational. We're halfway into the season and my point still stands. When we play against a big, physical, and bruising big like Jokic, AD, Sabonis, Zubac, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jared Allen, etc., he's like a deer in the headlights. He always gets barbecued against those guys. And yes, I do get that he's undersized, but that's not an excuse, nor is that where the problem lies. Draymond Green, who plays the 5, is even more undersized, but he's more physical and willing to battle than TJD. TJD just plays everything straight up. It doesn't matter if he's guarding the post or if he's rotating from the weak side. He's never really going to be active or physical. And the bigs score easily. That's where the problem is at. It's not exactly the same with Draymond. You'll never even see him like attempt to foul or poke the ball away or anything like that. Like, he doesn't have quick hands. Occasionally he does have a good ability to steal the entry pass, but that's about it. And when we play stretch 5s, it's just as bad because despite being 6'9", TJD is a slow-footed big. Like, you'll see him run on the court and you can already tell that he can't really move like that. He can't guard out in space and contest shots, and because he likes to block shots, he'll jump at everything and give up easy dribble penetration. He's at his best when we play traditional bigs that do the same thing that he does. Guys that screen, protect the rim, rebound, etc. Those are the type of matchups that he thrives in. But the problem is, big men are getting better and better as the game goes on. Some still have physical games that are still effective in the NBA. That's certainly something that's never really going to go away. But more bigs are handling the ball and more are coming off screens and bombing threes. And I'm not saying that TJD has to replicate that exactly, but he's got to add more to his game because right now TJD is at best a center off the bench. Because of how great he was when he got his opportunity last season, we thought, hey, maybe he could be a little more than just a 57th overall pick. But obviously this season we've truly found out what kind of a player he really is. But he is still valuable. He does do things that are valuable to an NBA team. Like, for an example, his rim protection. He's not a great shot blocker, but because he can protect the rim, meaning he doesn't have to block a shot, but he just has to make it hard for a team to score at the rim, he'll likely always have a spot. But to have a big role, you can't be that limited as a player.